Just a couple of weeks ago, Mike Flynn's sentencing was delayed again because his new lawyers said that there was this Inspector General report coming out of the Justice Department, which would shed important new light on the bogus case against Mike Flynn. The judge in Flynn's case, the same one who sent him away a year ago and said, you might want to try to help yourself some more before you hear the sentence I'm going to give you. That same judge agreed to once again delay Flynn's sentencing, this time until after the Inspector General report came out, so everybody could see what the Inspector General concluded about the propriety of the case that was brought against Mike Flynn, even the propriety of the FBI's original decision to open up an investigation into Flynn. Well, now, as of today, that Inspector General report is out. If you were the judge in Mike Flynn's case, it's easy to imagine that you might be a little bit annoyed at this point, if in fact you delayed the sentencing because of what you believed were good faith assertions from Mike Flynn's lawyers that this new report was going to change everything. It was going to, make the case against Mike Flynn fall apart. It was going to expose the dastardly FBI for only having pursued Flynn because of some political vendetta against Flynn or against Donald Trump. I mean, whatever else they thought this would give them, you might imagine that the judge today, now having had the opportunity to see this report, might be annoyed. Because the Inspector General report that is out today does discuss the FBI opening up their investigation into Mike Flynn. And they conclude that it was no problem. IG took a hard look at it. Seems pretty kosher. Is pretty much the conclusion. Definitely nothing wrong with the Mike Flynn investigation. This is what's in the Inspector General report today on Flynn. Quote, the initial investigative objective of Crossfire Hurricane, the Russia investigation, was to determine which individuals associated with the Trump campaign may have been in a position to have received the alleged offer of assistance from Russia. After conducting preliminary open source and FBI database inquiries, intelligence analysts on the Crossfire Hurricane team identified 3 individuals, Carter Page, Paul Manafort, and Michael Flynn, associated with the Trump campaign with either ties to Russia or a history of travel to Russia. On August 10th, 2016, the team opened separate counterintelligence cases on Page, Manafort, and George Papadopoulos under code names assigned by the FBI. 6 days later, on August 16th, a counterintelligence case was opened on Flynn under another codename assigned by the FBI. Each case was designated as a sensitive investigative matter because the individual subjects were believed to be prominent in a domestic political campaign. Inspector General then explains the predicate information that was cited as the reason for opening FBI investigations into each of those people, including Flynn. Quote, the opening electronic communication, the opening statement for the Flynn investigation stated that there was an articulable factual basis that Flynn may have wittingly or unwittingly been involved in activity on behalf of the Russian Federation, which may constitute a federal crime or threat to the national security. The document cross-referenced the predication to the Crossfire Hurricane investigation and stated that Flynn was an advisor to the Trump campaign who had various ties to state-affiliated entities of Russia and who traveled to Russia in December 2015. So that's what the FBI did when it opened its investigation into Flynn. Was there anything wrong with them opening that investigation into Flynn? The Inspector General says no, not at all. From page 352. Quote, we concluded that the FBI had sufficient predication to open full counterintelligence investigations of Papadopoulos, Page, Flynn, and Manafort in August 2016. As with the opening of Crossfire Hurricane itself, we concluded that the quantum of information articulated by the FBI to open these individual investigations was sufficient, particularly in the context of the FBI's separate and ongoing efforts to address Russian interference in the 2016 U.S. elections. So the FBI was looking at Russia interfering in the 2016 elections. They were looking specifically at whether anybody on the Trump campaign might have been in a position to accept that offer of assistance from Russia or otherwise coordinate with Russia, wittingly or unwittingly, while they were carrying out this operation to interfere in our election. The FBI looked at people on the Trump campaign who might have been in a position to do that sort of thing, and Flynn is one of the people they investigated. That's the investigation that ultimately resulted in him pleading guilty to a felony. That's what he's now waiting to be sentenced on. So to the extent that Mike Flynn's sentencing was just delayed again because his lawyers were totally sure and told the court that this inspector general report was going to be something the judge definitely wanted to see before any effort to sentence poor old innocent Mike Flynn. Since the FBI so obviously set him up, let's wait to see that report that shows that he was... the inspector general report is now out. It concludes that Mike Flynn was not set up, and the FBI did nothing wrong when they opened their investigation into him. There's also no indication in the Inspector General's report that the FBI did anything wrong over the course of its case against Flynn, which again resulted in him pleading guilty to a felony.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.